2016 was Chicago's deadliest year in nearly 2 decades. The city is the third largest in the US, but its murder rate tops bigger cities like Los Angeles and New York. President-elect Donald Trump tweeting about the issue, quote, Chicago murder rate is record-setting, 4,331 shooting victims with 762 murders in 2016. If Mayor can't do it, he must ask for federal help. CNN's Rosa Flores tells us what's behind the surge of killings.
Well, Michael, this is a tough and complicated issue. The local police superintendent says that in part emboldened criminals and an anti-police environment are to blame, but you can't forget about the people who are caught in the crossfires. And all too often here in Chicago, those are children.
I knew it was a gunshot because when I hear like, I know it wasn't firecrackers, and that's why I know it was like gunshots.
Tyra Ruffin was sitting on her dad's lap on her grandma's front porch when all hell broke loose this summer. The 10-year-old says her dad used his body to shield her from the flying bullets.
I heard like a lot of like bone and stuff. I saw all the blood over his shirt, so I thought I wanted to see him again.
Her downstairs neighbor, Devin Henderson, was playing video games by a window.
When I heard the gunshot, I got on the floor. My mom grabbed me. She put me in a room so to hide me.
Tyra and Devin were lucky to survive the hail of bullets, but so many children are not. CNN analyzed the police crime data. One child is killed in Chicago every week on average. That's a figure that's been true for the past quarter century. Why is Chicago so deadly?
Officers are under attack.
In an interview with 60 Minutes, former Chicago Police Superintendent Gary McCarthy says Chicago cops are not actively policing out of fear of putting themselves and their families in jeopardy.
Police are on their heels. They're on their heels for a number of reasons. We see the results, don't we? We're reaching a state of lawlessness.
Of the 762 murders in 2016, 65% of the killings are happening in 5 districts on the south and west sides of the city, where 59 rival gangs fight each other for territory, police say. To curb the violence, more officers are being hired and gunshot detection technology allowing a faster response is being purchased. But until the killings stop,
I feel scared in Chicago. I want to move from Chicago.
Children caught in the crosshairs are left dodging bullets, since the 2 most likely places to get shot in Chicago are the street or even the home.
I feel sad and scared. I don't want to be shot.
Now, about the president-elect's tweet, the city of Chicago did respond with a statement saying, in part, "We are heartened. He is taking this issue seriously and look forward to working with the new administration on these important efforts." Michael?
Our thanks to Rosa Flores there. And Cheryl Dorsey joins me now, retired sergeant with the Los Angeles Police Department and author of Black and Blue. Cheryl, thanks for being with us. I want to start off by showing a graphic which does point out something that's important in terms of context, and that is that per capita Chicago is not the deadliest capital, but it comes after places like St. Louis and Detroit and New Orleans. But that's not really the point of this story. It's the massive increase, 50% jump. I mean, that's staggering. Why Chicago? Why now?
Well, I think the police department clearly needs to be more proactive in the way in which they deal with the criminal element that's occurring, right? And I think if this were going on in a different part of town, it would not be tolerated. How is it that this can happen in this concentrated area and nowhere else, right? And so I think...
Why do you think that is?
Well, listen, I don't want to second guess the chief, and I don't want to make it a black and white issue, but I just know, I feel that most police departments have 2 departments within a department. You have officers who comport themselves one way in affluent areas and officers who comport themselves quite differently in areas where they're black and brown people. And so to think that you could have 42 shootings every weekend and they not come up with a system, a mechanism, a thing to do, not reach out to maybe larger departments and talk to other police chiefs and find out what are they doing, how are they being proactive, what do we need to do to train our officers, and then to hear the gentlemen say that officers are not enforcing the laws, they're not doing their job because they're afraid, is a cop-out.
Yeah, that's been said before, that the advent of YouTube and video cameras everywhere, that some cops are holding back because they don't want to end up on the internet. And what do you say to that?
If you're doing the right thing, you don't have any worry about being videotaped. And if you don't want to do that job, then we need to help them find something that's more suitable to their skill set, because the kinds of things that police officers encounter are inherent to police work. Train them better, provide them with the tools and equipment that they need so that they're safe, give them psychological evaluations regularly to make sure that their head's on straight. And if you find someone who doesn't want to do the job because he's afraid or she's afraid, or they're using deadly force because black people and brown people scare them, then we need to get them out of that profession.
You had Donald Trump saying, if the mayor can't handle it, bring the feds in. What might that look like, federal help? And the other thing too about Donald Trump, he was on record as saying, hey, let's stop and frisk.
Yeah, he scares me because it sounds like almost a justification for more of that thing that we don't want, more militarization of the police department, more overzealous police officers acting in a way that's inappropriate when you're dealing with minority communities. And so to say, ask for federal help, what does that mean? Are you talking about resources? Are you talking about training? Are you talking about money to hire more police officers? Is that what you're talking about, federal government ask for help?
You worry about stop and frisk?
Absolutely, because we understand that it's not constitutional, and he seems to like it, and probably other things that are in complete contradiction to my beliefs. And so I'm frightened by that kind of language.
Cheryl, thanks for coming in. Cheryl Dorsey, thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the white